Hi everyone, in this video I want to share the way I prepare and run backing tracks, hoping that you might find this information useful. Let's get started. Okay, so the first thing for me is to prepare the tracks. I like to run my backing tracks multi-track. That gives me the most flexibility, so I need to prepare my tracks. I need to have all the stems or the sounds I will need to be able to mute or unmute depending of the situation of the performance I have. So one thing I do, start my stems 2 measures before the introduction of the song. Why 2 measures? Because that way I can have a click that will count for the drummer, and then the drummer can count for the rest of the band. So I have a marker here that says begin 2 measures before, and I have a marker, let me see, close to the end of the track, or at the end of the track, that says end. That's gonna be the length of the stems that I will be creating. So let's say I wanna start with the background vocals. So I mute my main vocals and all the music, right? So only the background vocals are gonna be playing. I already have all my plugins here, right? In the previous video, I explained the way I route my audio, but I'll do it super quick. Basically, all individual tracks go to subgroups. Okay, this will be all bass, all kick, all drums, and so forth. In this particular track, they go to a filter, and then they go to music. And then the vocals go to all box, all the main vocals, and background vocals go to here. Then all of these tracks go to the mix sub. That's where I have all my mastering plugins. So what I do, I go to my last plugin, right click, and press commit to this insert. What that's going to do is going to apply all the process that I use in mastering and apply it to that track and create a new audio file. In this case, instead of being the whole mix or the whole master, it will be only the background vocals. So let's see what happens. And here in commit, I like to choose edit selection on track. Because this is going to be only focusing on whatever I selected here. It's not going to try to bounce anything outside or before. So press OK, and it will start the process. This is time consuming because every time you do a bounce, it takes a few minutes. As you can see, it's going at 3.6 the time that it would actually take this song to play, but even like that, it will take a while. So I'm not gonna show you the whole process. I'm gonna show you the end result right now, and let's see what will be the next step. Okay, so we have all the tracks already bounced. The reason I like doing it like this is because by running the tracks through the mastering chain, I will keep the general EQ and saturation that I might have applied for the mix. The only thing to be aware is that we might have to compensate volume-wise, because since the stems were hitting the mastering chain by themselves, they might not be pushed down as much as they were in the final mix when all of them were hitting the mastering chain. So you might have just to compensate with volume a little bit if you were to play them back at the same time. But in this case, it's not an issue. We have each stem by themselves, and that's the way we want them, and we can compensate when we're playing back our tracks. Okay, so we have them ready here. Now what we need to do is export them. In Pro Tools is Shift Command K. And I like to export them in WAV file because I notice for some reason when I do it in MP3, sometimes I have timing issues. So I'm gonna export all of them. I'm gonna put them on this prime folder. Okay, now we're gonna go back and do the next step. Okay, the next step will be to go to the folder where we have our WAV files or stems that we're going to use for our backing tracks. And I like to make a note of the tempo and the key of the song. And I usually put it in the drums one. So we have a song that's at 130 BPM and it's on E. Okay, now we're going to select all of them and we're going to compress them. Okay, now we have a compressed file right here. And this is the file we're gonna need to upload our backing tracks. To do that, we're gonna go to website loopcommunity.com right here. And the app we're gonna be using is called Prime. Okay, here you can create an account. It's free. I have a paid version because it has some features that I wanted to have, but the free version lets you do pretty much everything here. So I'm gonna go to this section and I'm gonna drag and drop my compressed file right here. Okay, so I go to, and it's gonna take a little bit to upload all those files. In the meantime, I can press continue and I can start filling out this information. Okay, the beats per minute, the key. Okay, and then we just have to wait for all the file to upload. Okay, now the compressed file has been uploaded. It's 100%. We can continue. And it's gonna give us the screen in which we need to match the files with the track list. This is a recently upgraded feature. It didn't used to appear here, but now it allows you to kind of match to a track type that once you're in the app, it allows you to do additional things. One thing to know is that we cannot have more than 10 characters. So background vocals are gonna change it to, okay. And track type, this would be a lead vocal. Where is it? Okay. And this leads, maybe, I don't think there's leads. Lead vocal, no, maybe a synth. Synth, that should work. Okay, then we continue. We already check our names. It's match, keys, effects, drums, bass. They're labeled properly. And we continue. And that's it. We arrive to the final step. We submit the track and it will show up in the cloud. Okay, so the next part is going to be done in the iPad. Okay, we have the iPad here. We have a set list, but we're going to create a new set list. Create new. I'm going to call it Ganga. Okay, and then we're going to add the song we just uploaded. Here in library. And then we look for it, Fuerte No Soy. Click on it, and we can have different versions of the song. That's done later, but right now we're just showing the original version. We click on the original and add to set list. And now it's gonna download it from the cloud. What I like about this app is that since everything's in the cloud in your account, you can download it to any iPad, any Apple device, pretty much any iPhone, laptops, whatever in the Apple ecosystem will work. So if you misplace something, one of your devices, and you're in a hurry, you can download your set list to your phone and be ready to keep going. That's something I really appreciate. Okay, so the song has been downloaded already. So if we click on it, we have this waveform. Okay, and this is the first step. We can see the waveform. But the way this is going to be the most beneficial for us is if we add markers. We need to add markers so we can have better control. So we're going to do that next. Okay, so we're ready to start adding markers. The first step is to click in this pencil right here. Then edit markers. And I like to zoom in. And I'm going to double tap on the beginning of the waveform. I'm going to call that intro. Okay, and then we can scroll. Identify where in this case, the first verse starts. I know it's right here. And we'll label this verse 1. Okay. Then moving on. Okay, there will be verse 2. Okay, let's see. This will be chorus. Okay, so we're gonna go through the song like that, and we're gonna finish labeling the whole song, and we'll come back. Okay, so I was in the middle of editing the markers, and I run into one of the limitations that Prime has. You cannot change meter or have tempo changes, right? That is if you want to take advantage of the use of the markers and the automatic creation of click tracks and cues. Okay, you can definitely use tracks with unsteady tempo and different meters and stuff like that, but you would have to create your own click track and your own cues. Okay, if you want it to be done automatically, it has to be with a constant meter and a constant tempo. Okay, so the workaround in this case is not the best, but just to have a steady click track is to, instead of having the timing in the meter in 4/4, to switch it to 2/4. So we go into the website, Prime Cloud, Prime Library, and I'm going to click on these three dots, edit track details, and I'm going to change the time signature to 2/4. And we're going to save it. Okay, in this part, it is important also to make sure you get the confirmation that it was updated. Like right before I pressed save, then nothing happened. Let's try this again. We need to see this happening. Okay, because if we don't get that confirmation, nothing is being updated. And just to confirm, we can go back. And now we can see now that it's been updated to 2/4. Okay, now let's go back to the iPad. Okay, so we're back in our iPad. It's important to close the app and open it again to make sure all those changes take place. And this is what we have right now. We can see that we have our multi-track there. We have our click and cues volume. If we're gonna run this mono, we need to set it up in a way that we have our click and cues in one side and the music in the other side. That way we can send our music to front of house, right? And we can use our click for our own monitoring. So we go to settings and we make sure that pan is on, okay? Go back. And also we need to make sure that click accent or click dynamic click, it's on. And we should have access to hear a click. If we also select click accent, we will have the accent following the meter, in this case 2/4, and this is the way it would sound. Right?
Intro 2.
So now we have access to all of our tracks. We can mute tracks, like I just mute the main vocals, right? We can solo. We can control the volume with specific sounds, right? We can also have access to a lot of other functions. For example, I can skip verse 2 and go straight to the chorus if I do this. Go into chorus.
2.
Right. Also, you can go to settings and change your cue sounds and your click sounds, right? You can go for rim or, let's say, marimba. Let's see how it sounds. Right, a different sound. Okay, let's just solo the click. Right. All right. Okay. So you can find the sound that works the best for you. The same for the cues. You can have different people, different voices giving you the clues. The cues we have even in Spanish, right? We can, let's choose Felipe in Español. See how that sounds.
Intro 2.
Okay, so you have plenty of options, and I love the fact that it's done automatically for you. You can change the arrangement of the song too. So there's a lot of features that can come really handy. And again, what I like about this app is the fact that you have access to it in any of your Apple devices. You can download them to your any Apple device, and you have access to your track there. Now it's important to sync, okay? Sync, because if you don't do that, the latest version of your track will not be uploaded to the cloud. If you want to download it, it will not be the same. Well, I guess this is going to be it for this video. I wanted to add a section in which I talk about the way I use Prime with an X32 rack. It's great because it allows the option to run those multi-tracks to different channels in the mixer. And it's great to have that amazing stereo mix in your ears, but I guess I'll do that in a separate video. Please do not hesitate to make comments and ask questions. I'm trying to build this channel and start creating content that you might find interesting. Anything related to music production, mixing, mastering, music theory. I'll try my best to cover whatever subject you're interested in knowing more about. Thank you for your support and have a great day.